Tom Marson is the Vice President of Operations at Henkels & McCoy Networks and is here with us in Dallas at the TIA 2015 Network of the Future Conference. Tom, welcome.
Thank you, Deborah. Thanks for having me.
Henkels & McCoy Networks is a leading national network integration company. As such, what are some of the technology trends that you see affecting the telecom carrier network infrastructure?
Deborah, that's a great question. We serve both the enterprise customers as well as the telecommunication carriers in the industry. So we get a perspective of both the supply side of telecom and the demand side. And where we see those two coming together is where we see technology trends really start to take off. For example, in the carrier space, the technology trend that is really starting to take hold after several years of talking about it is the migration to small cell technology. Small cell and outdoor DAS technology is really what the carriers are asking us to design and build for them this year, and we anticipate in the coming years. That's been a shift from other types of technologies like indoor DAS and macro tower networks over the prior decade. For the enterprise, we're hearing that they want us to very much consider putting in fiber optic networks all the way throughout their buildings. In the past, fiber used to stop at the door of the building and they would bring copper, traditional local area networks inside the building. The advent of PON technology, passive optical networking, that really has transformed what the enterprises are looking at deploying within their buildings. Finally, the carriers from the core networking perspective are looking at virtualizing their networks. And so they are not interested in dumping significant amounts of capital in dedicated hardware. So they're looking at now how could they virtualize their network on commoditized hardware and becoming more of a software company than they've ever been in the past.
What are the implications of these technology trends and how will telecom carriers react to them vis-a-vis the enterprise?
The carriers as well as the enterprises often have common drivers, and the result of these technology trends often benefit or hurt them in the same way. However, we're finding now some of the technology trends are actually diametrically opposed. For example, when the carriers start to invest in outside DAS or small cell technology, it's taking away capital from investing in the in-building systems that the enterprises prefer to have investment made. And thus, the enterprises will be required to invest their own capital if they want to continue to evolve and expand their cellular capabilities inside their own buildings. In some areas, they are aligned. For example, when the carriers decide to virtualize their network, it will reduce their capital outlays for upgrading their networks. It will also benefit the carriers, and that carriers will receive newer, better, faster services more rapidly as a result of the carriers having a software-defined network as opposed to a hardware-based network.
What are the important considerations for either the enterprise or the carriers to contemplate as to when to upgrade their networks? Have these considerations changed over time, or are they relatively constant?
Some are the same, where some have changed over time. One that is relatively constant is consideration of the total cost of ownership. Carriers and enterprises alike need to understand and appreciate not just the initial investment made in implementing a new network or upgrading an existing network, but what is it going to cost them to maintain and monitor that network over the life of the network. That now has become more important because networks have become more important. The wireless network has become a service that people have become to rely on. The medical profession, the engineering profession, doctors, lawyers are really relying on this. In the past, the mobile network was more of a luxury and not necessarily considered to be a reliable asset. And that has changed over time. So considering total cost of ownership has always been there, but considering the importance of monitoring and maintaining that network specifically is something that is relatively new. The carriers are investing more time and money in understanding how to monitor and maintain their networks or how to outsource that service to companies like H&M Networks. Enterprises are starting to consider the same thing. They cannot just think about building a new network. They really need to ensure that the reliability that they're investing in is something that their employees, their customers can truly count on.
Let's talk some more about the considerations that enterprise or carriers contemplate when upgrading their networks. What about value engineering?
Terrific question. It used to be that the enterprise or the carrier used to design gold-plated systems all the time because they wanted the best system possible. It's important today where capital has so many different avenues to be spent that they really recognize that they only design the system and build the system that is absolutely needed at this point in time. They should design it with an upgrade path in mind for a phase 2 and 3 to the project, but don't necessarily build the most robust network that they possibly can because their budget can afford it today. So what we emphasize is we'll design the right system with the right amount of capability for you today, but we'll build in an upgradable path for a phase 2 and a phase 3 for when more capital is available and when the demand requires you to upgrade your network.
Wireless networks have been all the rage for the past decade. Do you see any innovation happening in the wired world? And what is the market's reaction to any such innovations?
Oh, outstanding. Yes, the wired world has come a long way in delivering fiber optics to the enterprise and throughout the enterprise. There have been a significant amount of investments made in delivering fiber to the home by the telecommunication carriers. And now the employees are saying, I actually have better technology at home than I do in the office. And so they're asking for the same carriers to deliver that type of capability to their office. They want fiber brought to their desktop just like they have it brought to their home. They get voice, video, data services over that same single piece of fiber. And so the benefit to the enterprise is they substantially can reduce their cost of cabling systems, switching systems, networking systems inside their buildings by replacing it with a simple, low-cost fiber solution that will last a lifetime.
So let's talk about PON.
The benefits of PON, passive optical networking, are numerous. The solution actually costs less than a traditional Ethernet cabled infrastructure. It uses less electronics, so it's a simplification of the network. It has other benefits such as uses lower energy, it uses less air conditioning. The weight factor of glass fiber versus a bundle of copper cables is immense. It's enormous when designing or building a new building. So there are many other benefits other than the technology benefits of PON. So the only thing we need to overcome for broad adoption of PON is the fear of change. The IT industry and the telecom industry need to recognize that all of these benefits that we've espoused about PON can be realized if we simply get out of our own way and welcome this new technology.
So what can we add to the questions that we just covered today?
Well, one of the things that we're very proud of at Henkels & McCoy is that we are safety focused and quality focused. Those are two of our core principles that drive everything we do. We think about safety every day, day in and day out, because the work we do can be dangerous, and we want to ensure that for the safety of our employees and our customers, we are not jeopardizing their lives needlessly. Moreover, we're very focused on not only doing our work safely, but with the highest of quality. So we develop rigorous processes, tools, and capabilities to train, educate, and maintain a high level of professionalism in everything we do. And so when customers come to us, they can be assured that they're going to get a quality job done, delivered in the safest manner possible.
Thank you for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.